Hi, I'm Rick Harsh, the editor-in-chief of Corona Samizdat, and this might be a bit of a ramble, but we're going to have a catchy title. Uh, cyber thieves, attack Corona Samizdat. Today, I discovered that about 40% of the euros in the Corona Samizdat account disappeared sometime between Thursday and today. Um, Cybercrime. I checked the bank machine out in front of my apartment, and there was I'm not going to give the details. We're not a wealthy press. I've never been a wealthy man. In fact, the last month and a half has been the best I've done since about 2006, financially, I mean, living month to month and shit like that. And it drives me crazy. I mean, I'm not a money guy. I hate the job situation in the universe and the inequity and all of that. And so this has been a really good time because I've been able to concentrate a lot of my energies on something I like, it turns out, producing literature. And today, in the midst of a really good period, I got robbed, basically. And the hard part is I discovered this on a Saturday, and my bank won't be open till Monday. So been struggling with the problem of not knowing what will happen. Presumably, a bank covers this kind of thing. It'll be easily shown that I didn't take the money out. In fact, Thursday I was at the bank and I had them write down my balance because I did a transaction. And yesterday, I didn't even leave the house. And then someone took a large sum of money for us. And so it'll be easy. The bank machine probably has a camera. Certainly they have records. And I did not, take the money. But the weird thing is they left a round figure, under half of what I had, but a round number, perfectly round. And that is really bizarre. I called somebody to get some advice, but mainly to find out banks in Slovenia. I mean, I presume, I don't even know. It's probably owned by a German firm. I'm not sure. Maybe Austrian. Maybe one of the rare Slovene banks that's no longer owned by outsiders. Most banks here are owned by the Italians, the Austrians, and the Germans. So anyway, this one probably is Austrian or German. I'm not sure. They just changed hands. They actually, in this very apartment, on the ground floor, the street level, they have their local offices. So, you know, uh, so if they don't give me the money back, I just have to go down to the person who lives right above them and say, all right, it's time we drill down there. And so it's kind of been a rough day, but then I haven't gotten enough sleep for other reasons the last couple of nights. So I'm in terrible shape to think and read and whatever. But I was just looking at a book that came recently in the mail. I was like, I got a little bit of extra money for enough that I felt like I could catch up on books that I need to read. I ordered a couple of books by Thomas Bernhard. I read one yesterday. I couldn't sleep last night, even though I was really underslept. And it was because that book just drew me to the end. As soon as I started the afterword, I fell asleep. Today, Blood Meridian. I don't know why. I want to reread Blood Meridian, but I didn't mean to start it. I haven't finished Brossard's The Wolf Wolf Leaps Yet. But I also took a chance on this one because a friend of mine got me to read E.M. Choran, the Romanian aphorist, I guess, or aphoristicist. I don't know, but he writes aphoristic philosophy, and I have a book by him, The Trouble with Being Born. And I thought that's just great bathroom stuff. But then the books in the bathroom added up, and one of them was this one by the horror writer Thomas Ligotti, The Conspiracy Against the Human Race. And then one of the Bernhardt books is called Extinction, and then there was Blood Meridian. Those 4 books in the bathroom, and I took a picture. It's on Instagram. But anyway, this was, so yes, I was in the bathroom. And I'm reading this introduction of Pessimism and Paradox, and I'll just read a little bit here, just very little of what he says in the very first page of the study. He's quoting Radoslav Tsanov, who quotes the German philosopher Julius Bonson. "Man is a self-conscious nothing," wrote Bonson. And then he went on and he said, as a rule, this is Ligotti, as a rule, anyone desirous of an audience or even a place in society might profit from the following motto: if you can't say something positive about humanity, then say something equivocal. And, here's the problem with life as human beings have created it, is they made us worry so fucking much about money and the getting of, that we are not allowed the freedom of our minds to do what we can. And, after the brutality of the last few days that involved lack of sleep and then this horrific event, if it's not resolved, Corona Samizdat, is much poorer. And, one way that we've been able to keep producing books is my business plan, if you could call it that, was to not, I published all of the books that I felt I should publish, that had been published by me, or were going to be, or whatever. Most of them either are too new, or have been published in Slovene, or were published once in English, or were under contract once. And so they're not. It's not like I'm just pulling shit out of my ass, or pulling books out of my ass, or literature out of my ass. These are books that should be published. But I don't pay myself royalties. Everything I make goes into the press. And so this is. I figure I'll keep doing this until we get a big enough bunch of books, and good enough books, that at some point I will take stock and start deciding when the press will pay enough that eventually, my hope, I can start taking money out for life, like rent. The main goal is to pay rent through my retirement. That's my secret, okay? So I still have to do work outside of the press. I do some editing, a lot of editing. And, so this equivocation, when that word is used, it is striking. And that brings me to our man Chandler Broussard. We got the opening. Beautiful opening is actually the Zach Tanner, This Book Kills Fascists. His introductions are they get better every time. So here's the opening line of this one: "Man cannot live by equivocations alone." And I haven't seen that. I mean, I've not read this yet. I stopped myself because I didn't have time, and at the time I started to read it, I didn't have time, and I knew that, I mean, I just love it so much, and having to wait, or, to just always having it there is a comforting thing. I read, like, I don't know, 30 pages or so, and there's this fantastic zoo section. I think I read it on, probably I was not here. That was probably Instagram. Well, anyway, um, this is just a big fat book that's going to be thrilling. And I'm in the middle of his The Wolf Leaps, which is really a lot of fun as well. And I'll be doing a review of that pretty soon. Blood Meridian, that, I don't know. So you got The Conspiracy Against the Human Race, where our man Ligotti says, if you can't say something positive about humanity, then say something equivocal. But, as Chandler Broussard will tell him, although this is anachronistic because that came out after this was written, and the first version of it was published, man cannot live by equivocations alone. But when I read that, immediately my brain went, zip, 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 because it was free. Somehow coming out on the other end of a shitty day, not thinking about anything, not caring about anything. I took the dog out, okay. I found out that the Yankees lost. I mean, so maybe things started to feel good then. And then, I went to the bathroom and I saw this and I thought, yeah, you know what? The world is fucked up. Too many of you don't have enough time because of all the wrong reasons. There's no possible excuse for humanity to have created this civilization where so few people have so much fucking money and so many other people have nothing, and the rest have to work their fucking asses off to get anything. There's no excuse for humanity to have created even this world without paying attention to the health of the human being, what makes the human being separate, which is the brain, which is being underfed, overworked, and penalized by creations that are, if they are not made of plastic, they are of the essence of plastic. Cheap plastic, not Bakelite, That was when things were looking good in the plastic industry. That's a long time ago. It's a long time past. Now our oceans are plastic. Well, so, this is not a simple rant. I'm informing you that my press was ripped off, and I'll let you know later on if it works out good or if we're a little bit on the fucked side. We got 2 books coming out, and I have to pay for them, and I have a couple other things that need to be paid for, and this is a major blow. But I'm not going to let it get me down because I still have my mind, and I still have the ability to make connections. And I'm still drawn to the creative geniuses that are out there. Some dead, some still alive. Ligotti's still alive. Broussard's dead, unfortunately. But we got something good going for us if we can get away from the economic. But there's no excuse for us to be living and still working more than there should be a range of from 1 to 20 or 0 to 20 hours of actual grinding work. Okay, I'll give you an example of good work. Electricians, an electrician is doing something pretty important because we're all dependent on electricity. So we haven't had light on our balcony for a long time, and it has to do with the switch. And my wife knows more about this shit than I do, and I'm no good at it. And all of our friends who we ask, we've asked, too many times for too many little things, and the guys who we used to know who do something for and money we could afford are out of the business. So a friend of my wife's came over yesterday and fixed our connection, our light switch. It wasn't easy. He spent a half hour, but he did it for friends. And to me, that half hour is a week's worth of work for sure, because what he did, the value of it to us, the social value of having someone like that, and he's a guy who, in a bad situation where there's a serious power problem with electricity in Isla, he would be part of a team that would work for fucking, 100 hours a week in an emergency. But otherwise, let him live his life, you know? Say, okay, I don't really feel like doing anything today. Hey, Rick and Sassy, I said I'd be over tomorrow, but would you mind if I wait till Monday? Nah, no problem. That's how life should be. And we could do it. We could really do it. If we were sane, if we weren't, absorbed in this bizarre, apocalyptic dystopia. It is apocalyptic because I think we're getting to the point where there's just no turning back. It's the insanity is there, but until the end, and until they steal all my money, and even then, I'll still have the noggin, and Corona Samizdat will still exist, no matter what. We ain't going nowhere. We're going to publish the next 2 books on time. Thank you.